Welcome back, all of you. Nana here. And then in this one, I'm going to tell you about the supplier approvals which has been introduced in Fusion actually. So in eBiz, we don't have this approval, whereas in Fusion, we have this approval. So we are going to see the approval process in Fusion actually. Fine. So let me go on the share my screen now. So now I'm now logging in with the SCM 14 actually. Fine. It is not fit for procurement, but I have added the role. Fine. I have added the top role to the SCM 14. Fine. Click on sign in, and then I will show it to you. So once when you add the top role, we can very well do the purchasing activities via SCM also. So I click on it, and then I click on the home icon. The top, I click on the home, and then I go to the tools, and then I go to the security console now. So go to the tools, and then I go to the security console. So in the security console, what happens for the SCM 14, I have added the PRC all role. Actually, I click on the users now. So I will now go and then query my SCM 14. And then in this one, I have added the PRC all. So PRC all provides you the power to do all the procurement activities from SCM 14 itself. Actually, I did not add. I've added it, and so we can do it now. Fine. Now the first part of the supplier approval is what you go there. If I click on it, I go to setup and maintenance, and then I go to the offerings set. So click on the actions and then go to the offerings. Fine. Click on the actions and go to the offerings. So in the offerings, what happens? You go to the procurement. So in the procurement, you go to the opt-in futures. This is the first activity for approval enabling it. Procurement, opt-in futures. And then we are now going to enable the approvals for the procurement act. Opt-in futures. So procurement, opt-in futures. So in the opt-in futures, I directly go into suppliers actually. In the suppliers, we are now going to decide whether to have the approval or not. So we click on the opt-in features. Since we are now going into the offerings area, it will be always slow actually. It will not be fast. So once when you go in, you can do it. And remember, for creating a supplier site, you must be a legal user. That is a user who is having an association to LEB. If you're creating a user via security console, that user is not fit for creating a supplier site at all. So you must be a legal user. So who are users who are created via managed users, fine, they are only eligible for creating a supplier site actually. This is not so in US and orders. So I have gone to the opt-in features of the procurement. So here I choose the suppliers, and I choose the suppliers, and then I click on the futures. So first of all, let us now bypass all the approvals. Fine, we will now bypass all the approvals, and then afterwards we will now introduce the approvals actually. Suppliers features, and I'm going to bypass the approvals. So the first activity is to bypass now. So here, what I can say, approve internal changes on supplier profile actually. I click on the edit now. I click on the edit. I go there. So nothing is enabled actually. So that means what? Supplier creation is not totally automatic actually. Right? There is no approval required at all. Right? We will not try to create a supplier and then see whether we are able to create the address or not. If you are able to get address, that means what? The supplier is no. The approval is bypassed actually. I will now go there, fine, right click and then duplicate. Fine. So in the profiling, we have now bypassed all the approvals actually. I click on the home icon and then I go to the procurement. I go to the procurement. You go to the procurement, and then in the procurement, what happens? They go to the suppliers directly. So click on the suppliers in the procurement, and then here we are now going to create a supplier. Now I click on it. We'll now go and then create a supplier. If I click on it, we will now go there and then click on the create supplier. You know, so the supplier name is what? T01 underscore sub underscore 1. I'm now creating it now. So here it must be spent authorized so that you can when we go to the purchase orders. On prospective, we can put it only on RFQ and then quote, and then we cannot put the supplier on a purchase order. So later on, what happens when the suppliers promises and other things are okay, we will now convert a prospective into spend authorized. Fine, that way you do it, or we can even directly create a spend authorized supplier and go to order and then go there. So tax organization, this is done by the payables basically. Fine, go there. So there's a mandatory field, you know, so the remaining are not mandatory. Fine, click on it. So T01 underscore sub underscore 1 is now getting created actually. I click on create. We are now creating a supplier actually. So I am in SCM 14 actually. And go there and click on it. And then go there. I will now click on what everything is there. Fine. I go to the payments area and then create one of the payment as a default payment. It will be anything, doesn't matter. And click on it. I will now click on this icon and then put a tick mark on this. Normally, what happens, it will be check actually. If I make a check as a default payment, so then what happens, they can very well perform the payments via Vision actually very easily. If I click on save, it is not done. Click on save. Now I go to the address part and click on it. Well, now go there and click on the address part. So click on the address and then let me get address now. Click on this. We are not going to get address now. Click on it. If your CM14 is not created as a what's called a procurement agent, then he will not be in a position to create a supply side. Actually, if I go there, I will now say to the T01 address 1 and then country is the United States. United States. I'm choosing address line is what? T01. Address line 1. No, I go there. So go there. So remaining or not mandatory, actually we can leave it as an click on it. And then I will now put an point E01 underscore sub underscore 1 at gmail.com. So normally we associate one thing and click on it and then go there. So the address is now getting created actually. If I click on save. So this is required. I will now say is ordering and remit to find. So you can create a purchase orders as well as you can put it on the payables actually and click on save and close. So by which the address is now created actually. So once when the address is now created, now there is no approval involved because we already bypassed on the offerings itself. I go next, so click on it. I will now go to the sites. Now I click on the sites. What happens is not enabled actually. Fine. So we have to make him as a procurement agent, then only it will be possible. I click on it. So give a save and close now. Fine, click on save and close. So we are now going to make him as a procurement agent actually. And click on it. I will now go there, right click and then duplicate. So SCM14 is not a procurement agent. So already SCM14 is a legal user, and so it is not difficult at all to make him as a procurement agent. Fine, click on it. I will go to the setup and maintenance. And then let me make him as a procurement agent now. I click on it. I will go to the search and then come to the generic area of the task management. I know that. So manage percentage, procurement percentage, agent percentage, entering. So let me make him as a procurement agent. SCM14. So click on plus. So it's a procurement BU is years 1. Years 1 is a procurement BU. And go the agent name is what? Student. Comma. Fine. I will now say SCM14. Last name, comma first name. There is a way you have to query for it. Now I click on it. So the requisitioning BU is what? Years 1 business unit. And then default printers, okay, and then enable everything. Then only it will be possible actually. If I manage requisitions, he must be able to whatever do the access for the agents. I click on make it as a full now. I click on it. So make it as a full. It is a must actually. Otherwise, it will not be possible for you to get a site actually. I click on it. So make it as full. Or you can even partially give also a view also you can give it if you don't want him to do any modification actually. So now he is a procurement agent, he is having full powers to do anything. I click on save and close. And then whenever you make such a major change, what you have to do is you have to log out and log in. Log out and log in is a very important one. I click on it. So click on it. We'll go there. Sign out and sign in. So we are now signing out and signing in. So whenever you make any major changes, have a habit of signing it and signing. Now go there. I will not go to the procurement and I will not go to the suppliers again. Let me query my supplier. So go there. So let me go to the manage suppliers and then query my supplier. Go to the manage suppliers. So click on the manage suppliers. I go there. I will not query for the D01. So click on search. We're getting enough and click on it. So go there. So here there is one blue icon will be coming if there is an approval involved actually. So there is no blue icon here. That means what? No approval is involved. I click on it. So click on edit now. I'm going to edit it directly. So we have already created the address. Now we'll now go for the site actually. If I click on the site. So since he is a procurement agent, you will now be able to see the plus sign. I click on it. Go to actions and then click on what? Create. So while creating it, the address which I have created will be coming in the list of values. Had it been an approval involved, then nothing will be coming. Fine, I go to the drop down, I go to click on it. The address is coming. I click on the address coming, the site is coming. So I can even make it as what site one. I can override the defaults over here. If I click on it, whatever is there, I click on it. So click on save. Now I click on save. The site is now getting created. I go to the site assignments. Now I click on the site assignments. I click on it. So the site is now coming. Fine. So click on the site assignments. So click on plus now. I will now add US one. Here's one business unit. So the built unit is also same now. So I'll now put Seattle because since I'm working on the vision, I'll now use the Seattle. So I'll now take a copy of it and then put it in the built location also. So that's it. Fine. The remaining will be done with the payables actually. I click on save and close, by which whatever the site is now successfully created. I click on save and close. And then when I want to create a contact, the address will be coming for the contact actually. You know, I'll now go to the contacts now. I click on the contacts. So click on plus now. Fine. I'm not going to create a contact now. So when I'm creating a contact, the address which I have created will be coming automatically in the list of values now. So I will now say the one, and then go there, click on it, and then here whatever the good actions, and then whatever the select an ad. So in the select an ad, you'll be getting the address in the list of values because it doesn't need any approvals at all. The address doesn't need approval. I click on it, and then click on apply, and then click on OK, by which what happens, getting it now. So now the supply creation is almost complete without any approvals at all. So click on save and close, by which one of the supplier is now created with any approvals. Now let's now introduce the approvals. Save and close. Now we can very well put in the purchase orders as well as RFQs and codes. Fine, everything is enabled actually because it's been authorized. And then we are now done the ordering. Ordering itself will now make it as what? Making it eligible for putting it in the purchase orders as well as the code. So click on save and close. Now let's now introduce the approvals. So click on it. So go there and click on it. So click on it, and then here, or I go there, and then here I will now go to the what again setup and maintenance. There, what I'm going to do is I'm now going to use approvals actually. Click on good actions and good offerings now. So good actions and good offerings, and then here I will now go to the procurement, and then I'm now going to introduce the approvals actually. I click on opt-in features now. So now we are introducing the approvals, and then we'll now see about how the approval for the supplier address will be enabled actually. So go to the opt-in features. So here you go there and then do it. Now the Redwood initiative has been enabled now. Fine. You only have to whatever sit and then practice it actually. So many things have been done now. Fine. So once when that is getting practiced, then you can very well do a lot of activity on this. So offerings always will not take a longer time actually. It doesn't come immediately. I don't know. So I go to the suppliers area. Fine. Go to the suppliers area and then click on the futures now. Fine. I'm going to edit it and then I'm going to enable the approvals for this. Click on the futures area. Now for the supply creation, we can enable approval for any of the four which are available there actually. I will now go to the approve internal changes. Now fine, click on it. I will now click on the edit enable. Fine, click on the enable now. So you can enable it for address or bank accounts or whatever sites, whatever you want, you can do it now. You can even do it for all the four also. Now I will not test it only for address. So select address and then click on save and close. So whenever I create an address, it needs an approval actually. Fine, click on save and close. It is now done. Fine, click on done. So this is a major change. And then whenever you have a habit of making any major changes, so log out and log in. Fine, for the changes to take effect. Habit is habit. It may not be actually required, but logging out and logging in will definitely ensure that the changes are effective. Sometimes without even login will come, but habit is a habit to log out and log in. Because on the offerings area, you're not making a change. And so what happens? Log out and log in for the changes to take effect. So it's not taking longer time now. So no other go. So go there and click on that, and then what happens? I now log out and log in. Now this time when I create a supplier, what happens? The address needs an approval actually. So we have to set up the approvals also. The next activity is to what? Set up the approvals. I click on it. I don't think I will now set up the approvals and then log out and log in. And so that what happens? Both the things are done together actually. I click on it. So click on search. Now find the FSM area. I go there. Fine. I'll say manage. Sub percentage fine. Approval percentage. So let me set up the approvals and then log out and log in for both activities together actually. So here what happens? I go there. Manage internal supplier profile change approvals is the one. Fine. So manage supplier approvals has got so many tasks now. Fine. I go to the manage internal supplier profile change approvals. Fine. Click on it. So let me send it to SCM15 for approval actually. So only one is enabled now. Whatever is enabled, I will now click on the edit roles. Now this will be effective only when the offerings area is enabled. It's automatic. Fine, click on it. I will now make a change. Now fine, click on it. So go there. Fine, click on it. I will now say approval required. I will now say what's called a single approver. I will now make it as a worker now. And I will now say is a always last name, first name. Fine. Command SCM15. So that way I'm not doing enough. Command SCM15. So the one it has to go to 15 for approval. Click on OK. So this has been enabled now. So whenever an address is now created, it needs an approval by SCM15. If I click on save and close, fine, click on it, and then when we go there, and then we have to what happens is deploy it also. So I click on edit roles. I forgot to deploy it actually. Click on it. So click on deploy. Fine, we deploy it. I forgot to deploy it, and click on deployment. So whenever you make a change here in the approvals area, you deploy it. Right? It's not deployed actually. I click on it. Click on it. Now I will now log out and log in and then show it. So click on it. So click on sign out. And this time when I create a supplier, it will now ask for an approval by SCM15 actually on the address part. So it's now logged in now. I go to the procurement and then I go to the suppliers now. This time I'm now creating a new supplier. So this time it will be asking for an approval. I click on it. So click on create supplier. So go there. The T01 sub_2 now. Now make it as a spend authorized here. Or we go there. Now make it as a corporation. Click on the create when I'm creating a supplier. So click on create. So we are now creating a new supplier. The T01 sub2 is the one which I'm going to create. So supplier name is coming. T01 sub2, everything is coming. Fine. Go to the payments. Then I make the check payment as a default. Fine. Click on it. And make the default. Fine. Click on save. So this time when I create an address, you can see T01 sub2 will need an approval actually. Then click on the address. So click on this. So let me get an address. I'm going to say the T01. Address 2 now. And country is United States. So here I will say T01. Line 2 is the one. I'm now giving it away. I'm now enabling ordering and remit to. So this address will not be visible on the contacts area because it needs an approval actually. And click on it. So click on save and close. I'm doing it now. It is now done now. So go there. I will now click on submit. So once when you click on the submit button is coming, once when you submit for it, it will now go for approval actually. And click on submit because it needs an approval. So go there. So internal profile change request was submitted for approval actually. So click on OK. It is not done now. So what I do is I will now click on the home icon again. And click on the home icon. And then here, when I want to create here, what's called a contact now, I go to the supplier. I will now go to the manage suppliers and then query for it. I'll go to the manage suppliers. Go there. The T01 and give enter now. So previously I created one on T01 sub1. So there is no exclamation mark. Here we have an exclamation mark. So that means what? It needs an approval. If you go to supplier 2, find supplier 2. And then I go to the contacts now. If I click on the contacts, the address will not be visible at all. We cannot create address at all. So address cannot be created. I go to the address now. I go to the sites. Okay, I go to the address. So go there. So address is not visible at all. Fine. There is a profile change request pending approval. That's not showing you very clear. So click on the now. So this is why it is not coming in the address area. Click on done, and then go there, and then click on done, and then come to the main area. In the main overview area, if you go and see T01 sub2 is now coming. Fine. You select it. The bottom, it will now say with whom it is now pending for approval. Actually, go there and click on it. There is a request which is now pending. Fine. Go there on the T01. The bottom is not showing you the request number. Fine. Click on the request number, and then if you click on it, it will not show you that it has been marked to SCM15 now. Fine. Click on the submit button. Fine. If you click on the submit button, it has been marked to SCM15. So first enable the offerings, and then afterwards set up the approvals. Actually. So this is the way you do it. So it has been marked to SCM15 actually. If I click on it, SCM15. Click on it. So now let me, what happens, log in as SCM15 actually. And then will now come over. Click on that. Log out and log in for SCM15. Now if I click on sign out and sign in. So I will now make a change on the number now for SCM15. The passwords are the same because they're all common actually. And click on it. So we are going over there into SCM15 now. Right? I will now go there. I will now see on the bill icon, you'll be having an approval button. Now, click on it. So go there. So it needs an approval actually. I will now directly approve. I click on approve. So we are approving it directly. So once when you approve it, now we can very well continue creating the supplier on SCM14 itself. I don't know that. Now, if I click on it, let me log out and then log in, sign out and sign in. As SCM14 now, if I click on it, and then if you go, then query, the I icon would have gone. If you go to the procurement, and then if you go to the suppliers now, if I click on the suppliers, and then query manage suppliers now, click on it. So if you go to the place, click on it. So in this place, the main overview itself, what happens is that is missing. The supplier which are pending for approval. Supplier with incomplete setup is not pending, is not missing actually. That means what it is not done. And click on the manage suppliers. You go there and then query for the 301. Right. Now that I icon will not be there on the second supplier at all. Second supplier, so we click on it. The icon is gone because it's now approved. Right. If we go to the address, now address is visible. Previously it was not visible. And if you go and then try to get a contact, the contact can very well be created on this one. First of all, bring it to the edit mode. If I click on the edit mode, so bring it to the edit mode. And then I will click on the plus symbol. I click on the plus symbol. And then here, whatever they go, the good actions, and then go to select that. You can now see the address is now listed over here, associating to a contact action. So this completes the supplier approval process. One is what, first of all, you enable whatever you want to have an approval on the offerings area. And then you go to the manage supplier approvals, and then the internal profile change approvals, you set up the appropriate approval accordingly. So this completes this exercise now. Right? So I hope that you understood it. Right? You can write to me for any clarification on my WhatsApp number 98418 67924. Fine. Bye for now.